Project Audi continues. So I haven't done any videos for a while, but I have been pretty busy. So the hunt continues for a new door. If you remember, we have a nice little issue here with this rear driver's side door. The front is a bit squeaky as well. We'll get to that when we come to it. But today I've travelled 2 hours to Cambridge because I have found on Facebook a very nice gentleman who is breaking the same sort of car, even the same colour as mine. Here it is. All the good stuff's already been taken out, but they do have a nice door without a dent. You can see now it's got a few scratches on it, but it is complete. No dents like my one, so I am going to remove it. Got all my tools, it's jacked up, ready to go, so here we go. Never done this before, but from what I can see, just got a bolt here and 2 bolts there, 45 Torx. Let's get that off. That's a mess. There. There's loads of bits. He's not currently here, but he did say take what you need and just leave the money in the car. So I'm going to have a good look around, so if there's anything else I can swipe for mine. The engine's there. Looks like it's seen better days, but I've noticed the clutch is on its way out on mine, but that one that one don't look great either, so I think I'll leave that. But what else we got? Oh, one of the EGR valves on here, actually, thinking about it. I've just bought a new EGR valve, but a used one. Anyway, let's go and we'll take the door off. Had to switch to the phone because the GoPro ran out of battery. Been trying to remove the door card simply because the wiring loom from the door to the B pillar is connected, and that is for the electric window and the speakers. Now I didn't want to cut it, but I can't take the door card off because there's one screw right in there and I haven't got a screwdriver long enough to get in there. So alternatively I've removed the panel here, the trim, to figure out how to disconnect the wiring loom. And it looks like there's a plug here, but I can't figure out how to undo the bloody thing. I'm just looking on some forums to disconnect it, but once I get that out, boom, 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 and the door will be off. So let's figure that out. And here we have it, the door is off. It's absolutely tipping it down, but I managed to get it all off in one piece intact, and there's no dent on it. Tiny bit of rust there, but I'm going to deal with that as long as it's not dented. So I have to tidy away all my tools. As I just said, it is absolutely hossing it down here, so get quickly tidied up and then I'm out of here.
Early the next morning.
This is the next day from picking up the replacement door from the scrap Audi event that I found on Facebook Marketplace. Was in Cambridge. It was an eventful drive back because although it's been hot for the past few days, rain was forecast heavily and the heavens decided to open biblical style on the way back, and I got absolutely drenched. Well, I didn't get drenched, but it took a little bit longer to drive back than I was hoping. But anyway, we made it home and we have a new door. Well, I say new door, a replacement door, because that, as I said a few times, is going to be replacing this door here because we have a horrible dent and it's not sitting flush with, and you see that it's not sitting in the body. But hopefully it'll be an easy swap over. It's just literally 3 bolts and a wiring harness to plug in, so I will get on that in a little while. But first off, I've had this part sitting on my living room floor for a while. I have had one of the all-time most annoying engine lights come on. Well, it's been on since I had it. You see that little guy there? Now it's been plugged in. I do have a basic OBD scanner and it is saying EGR fault, as you would expect. So I have here a replacement EGR valve. This guy here is, it's not a genuine one, it's an eBay special because the genuine ones are pretty pricey. So the idea is just to take the old one off, plug this guy in, see if it eliminates the code, but at the same time, while this is on and running, I'm going to take the old one and clean it out. And if I do get any more issues and the new one isn't up to scratch because it's a non-genuine part, I'll plug the old one back in, although it'll be fully cleaned out and serviced, to see if that cures the problem. And at the same time, while I'm doing that, I thought, great opportunity to give the engine bay a bit of a detail. 2 litre TDI. It's quite a nice quick motor. It's about 138 brake from standard. I've got a replacement one of these Audi rings to go on here to top it off after it's been cleaned up, but it is looking pretty grubby under here, so I'm going to clean all around here, all around here. This is the old EGR valve here, so I'm going to take that off. It's literally I've watched a few videos and it is quite easy. I have to loosen this off, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts after I've taken this pipe off. That is intercooler pipe, I believe. Goes in there. Yeah, so I'll get that old one off, swap it for the new one, and then give the bay a bit of a tidy up. Oh, I've got a replacement air blocks as well because there is a tab that snapped off in here. So I mean, it might not be causing any issues, but it'd be nice to know that it's nice and airtight. I may even upgrade the air filter to a K&N at some point, but that's for another video. But generally speaking, we're going to have a tidy up. So get all the plastics cleaned inside the bonnet. I'm going to take this off and give this a clean up as well, the heat shield, and yeah, just generally give it a nice tidy up so it's nice and clean. So roll the time lapse. One thing I have noticed, I've just taken the intercooler pipe off, very oily in there. Although it's not running badly, it's a bit juddery on idle. I'm hoping this cleaned up will solve that issue. But I've also run a load of injector cleaner through it as well, so hopefully that'll cure the problem. We'll see. So throttle body off, it's looking a bit gunky in there, so I'll give that a clean up. Although carbony, oily, yeah, that definitely needs a clean up anyway, so put that to one side. Let's get this old EGR valve off and see what we have in there. So, EGR valve is off, and I'm not surprised why that light is on. Look inside there. It is filthy as hell. Look at all that gunking there. Now, bear in mind this motor is 148,000 miles deep, but that is just, as soon as I got it loose, bits falling off. And also it's missing a bolt, so I'm like, okay, there's air getting there somehow, and it's all coked up and horrible. So I need to find a bolt. The housing is connected with 4 of these, but only 3 were present, so it's 100% reason why the light's coming on. So I'm going to go and see my friend Ash at AB Autos and see if he's got anything the same as that I can put the EGR valve back on with, the new EGR valve. I mean, I'll give it a clean up, but that's no good. So let's go and see Ash.
One entree later.
AB Autos. In the middle of something, that might better help out.
Right.
Do you have any of them?
Does it have to have that sort of head on it? Or are you not bothered?
I'm in the middle of doing the EGR valve on the Audi. 4 bolts, took the old one off, there's only 3 in there. So it's
Oh,
missing
someone's
one.
been there before then.
And also, I think it's been blanked.
Right,
It's
okay.
fucking filthy, I tell you. So, I've got the old one off, you can see the state of it. Look inside
Oh,
that,
bloody hell.
look at that. But there was also, on that bit, this blanking plate.
Ah, yes.
So someone's been in there and blanked it off.
Absolutely.
And that's 100% why the light's coming on, I reckon. I've got a brand new one to put in, but I took it off, and there's only 3 bolts there.
Yeah, so obviously someone's had this hole off.
I've obviously lost one somewhere along the line, so it's going to be some sort of vacuum in there,
So
isn't
someone's
there?
obviously blanked it off before, but not had it mapped out or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So it's obviously not.
It's just
Yeah.
it looks like shit, doesn't it? So.
Oh, that's never going to work properly, is it? Hey,
So,
yeah.
my problem is I'm missing a bolt, and I just thought I'd just try you off,
I'm sure I have something.
because I don't know if it's just like a standard VW or Audi sort of thing. Yo.
Sort of, kind of.
There must be something like similar that I've taken out something else. Give Audi a call, see if there's something they can sell, but no worries if you haven't.
Nothing in there, but that's slightly longer. Obviously, I suppose you can cut that down though if you've got a grinder or something.
Well, to be fair, one of them goes through, and you can see the end of it exposed on the other side
Oh, so
anyway.
you can go through further.
If it's the same, then yeah, I can just. So it looks like
Same thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give that a go then. Yeah, that's probably
Well,
going
that
to do it. Just because I just want to close up any sort of vacuum that might be causing.
That's going to be leaking.
I mean, it runs all right, apart from it's a bit of a lag in first. But other than that, it's been fine. But the light's been on since I've had it.
Which it will be. Yeah.
But then I understand why. You all right?
How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. I was in the middle of something, and I just thought I'd come and see if you can help me out. Got the EGR valve off the Audi. It's been blanked off.
Yeah, that don't sound about
Right.
right.
Mapped out.
And it's been mapped, it hasn't been mapped out though, has it?
Obviously not, no.
No, but it wouldn't do, yeah. If
Come have a look at the inside of it. It's horrendous.
Good God.
And then I was just saying it's been blanked off as well, because that was there.
Yeah, someone's just made a blank, yeah.
Just blanked it off and done nothing with it.
Yeah.
So, but I was just saying I was missing a bolt.
Good option,
and
yeah.
and take the blank off as well, because that's not going to.
Well, no, because it's been blanked, they ain't going to work, is it?
Especially if you don't map it out anyway. So,
Absolutely. No.
So hopefully that'll run a bit better, because it's been running really like rough as well, like on idle. It's
Yeah.
like really juddery.
Well, it will, yeah. So it's got no boost initially in first gear.
Yeah.
It's going to be, is he coming out as well?
Yeah, I'm going to go anyway.
Right,
all right, cheers, mate. Thank you.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So back from the shop, AB Autos, chatting with the guys there, and they've supplied me with a spare bolt, although the head's slightly different and it's a tiny bit longer. It's not really going to be a problem because the end is going to be a little bit exposed anyway. It goes straight through the housing, so that is going to close up the gap, because let's be honest, whoever's done this hasn't done a very good job, because they've blanked it off with some sort of plate that goes there, that blanks off that bit, but it hasn't been programmed out. So that is why I am getting the engine management light go off all the time. So I have a brand new one of these, although like I said, it's a pattern part, but I'm going to put that on and run it without the blanking plate, give it all a clean up, give this old one a clean up. If I do get trouble with the new one, because it's not a pattern, because this is like a Siemens one, you see there's a Siemens stamp on there, so that's obviously a genuine part. This one I've got, it's off eBay. It was a fraction of a genuine part, but it's basically just to eliminate any issues. So I'll put the new one on, keep this to one side, clean it, and I'm going to give the throttle body a clean out as well. This is the butterfly valve throttle body. It's a bit gunky in there as well. Obviously blanking off the EGR isn't going to do any good, and I have some carb cleaner here, so I'm going to give it all a good spruce up, and then when I've put it all back together, I'm just going to give the engine bay a good valet as well. So let's see how that goes. comparison time. New, old. That is what it should be looking like. Lovely and fresh and clean. So let's put this new one on and then plug it all back together and see what we get. So butterfly valve successfully cleaned up. It is lovely and shiny now, as it should be. So I'm going to hook this back up to the EGR valve, put the intercooler pipe back on, plug it in, and we should be good to go. So there we have it, all done, all hooked up. We have brand new EGR valve with blanking plate taken out, cleaned throttle body, totally decoked and cleaned up. Yeah, the blanking plate was in here. I'm not quite 100% certain what this tube is, but it's all good to go. I am going to clean this properly shortly, but I'm excited to see how it runs now all this is hooked up. So let's just clear the area. This is the old EGR valve. I'm going to keep that to one side and clean that up at my leisure, and then if I need to I can stick that back on at some point. But let's see what happens. Now one thing I'm interested to see is because the idle was really lumpy. Doesn't appear to be as lumpy now. Yeah, I know, fuel. I think that's cured the lumpiness. You know what? I think we're good. Obviously the light is still on, but I'm just going to code that out in a second with my OBD reader, and then hopefully it'll go out and stay out. So OBD plugged in. Now, let's see what we got code wise. So diagnose. Okay, what we got come up. So DTC's in this ECU, readiness completed. Read codes. There we go. Exhaust gas. Yep, that's the EGR valve. What's this pending? EGR valve. Right. Okay. Now let's erase the codes. Clear. Reset emission related dot. Are you sure? Okay. Please turn ignition on when engine off. Press enter key to continue. Right, it is on. Press enter key to continue. Cool. So what do I do now? Still on though. And there we go. Code has gone. Engine light's gone. I noticed as soon as I put the new EGR on, it smoked a little bit. It was smoking a little bit, but hopefully it's just crap working itself through the system. Is it smoking? I'll take it for driving a bit, but I'm going to stop and have a coffee and then see what it's like. But hopefully we're good to go.
72 hours later.
Tea break over. Next job. Engine bay clean. I put the engine cover back on, but what I'm going to do now is take all these clips out, take this heat shield off, clean all of this, clean the plastic, all these bits and pieces. I've got another air box to put on as well, so I'll do that afterwards, give it a clean up. But yeah, another time lapse incoming. Boom. So finally cleaning has finished and we're all looking nice and shiny. Look at that. I was getting a bit worried because under here we have the brake servo and some other various bits and pieces, and there was a load of water in there. It didn't appear to be draining, so I got out the old blower, give it a blow, and then give it a rinse with all the drain holes that are down there, but might have just been blocked. I did leave a little bit of water in there. It seems to be draining itself slowly-ish, so hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. Otherwise, if you leave water in there, it's going to get all rusty and horrible and shit, basically. But anyway, yeah. And I've added, because I did mention before, the engine cover didn't have the Audi rings, and I notice a lot of people on eBay and that, they sell these engine covers and they don't have them, so they must fall off really easily. I did order this ages ago with a load of other bits and pieces, but that kind of finishes it off and it's all shiny and new looking, so that is it. I have had some brake discs and pads for the rear turn up today, so that's going to be another project for another time, probably tomorrow or after I've had the kids at the weekend. But we've got electronic brakes on the rear, and whenever I engage and disengage you hear this. I had a quick look, there's not too much meat on the pads, so I might just change them, the discs as well, while I'm there, because obviously that is something they'll check on the MOT as well, and if it's squeaking I'm not sure if that's going to be a fail or not, so we'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. We'll speak to you soon. So many adjustments later, tea and biscuits consumed. Unfortunately, another problem is the inside handle doesn't work. The dreaded engine light has come back on.